beautiful people. I pray that you guys are blessed and highly favored. It's Kanisha again, back to you guys, speaking on another video for my ladies. And I hope that the previous videos have blessed you and actually allow you to grow mentally and dive in spiritually and just focus on who you are and who you want to be. Okay, and so today, as you can tell by the title, let's get personal. Okay, let's get personal. And I believe this is a topic that, if not taught or spoken about correctly, it falls on deaf ears. But when taught and spoken about gently, kindly, and respectfully, it is received better. And I feel like I am able to do this because I'm coming from a place where I was once there. I am still trying to figure out who I am just wise, but I am in a better place and a more respectable place for myself, for my husband, and for my children, and for God, and for just the community of Black women who is not trying to be defined by our bodies alone. We know we look good. We know that God took his time with us and that it shows. However, I think though we know that, we don't know that that is not all that is not all that we come with. And so when we enhance that and bring that to the table, as in, this is the first thing you're going to see about me, it sends a message that we are not trying to give off, right? So anyways, please just follow our page, follow our platform, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share, and comment if this message is blessing you. If you're watching this, you're like, God, my little sister need to watch this, or my little cousin need to watch it, share it to them, encourage them to get over here and to grow. And this is where God has me at right now. This is where I'm at right now. And I know that it's coming from a place where, because I've been there, I get it. Okay, now I'm talking about Jessen. And let me give you a little background. I come from the Caribbean. I was raised in Batty Riders, okay? I was raised in Batty Riders. Like, I was raised in seductive clothing. Whether it was a choice, I'm not sure. But I remember just being young and just thinking, why is it that men always come to me for sex? Like, it was like, and I'm sure I put this in my book, Suicide or Jesus Christ. It's like I had something on my forehead inviting men in to have sex with me, and even men that I was not at all interested in that way, uncles, that I was not at all interested in that way, but for some reason, that is what energy was coming towards me. Now, growing up, looking back, thinking back on the way that I dressed, even as a young lady, was very sexually provoking and very seductive. And I guess in the Caribbean, that's quite normal, right? It's quite normal because the island's hot. We grew up on the seaside. We grew up in bathing suit, in shorts, in crop tops. These are the things that we are used to wearing. And so now, coming out of that environment, coming to the United States, to the United Kingdom, and then attending church, and let's not add clubbing to that. I started clubbing from very young. And when you go into the club, you have to dress a certain way, right? So, going to the club, you have to look a certain way, present a certain way. You're not going to go covered up, are you, right? And so, entering to church at 25, because I left quite young, went to church with my mom when we were younger till we were finally older for her to send us by ourselves. We knew on Sundays to dress holy, right? Dress holy on Sundays, but from Monday to Saturday, dress like a hooker, okay? But so I knew a sense of holiness, a way of holiness, right? But that was not my normal way of dressing. That was my church way of dressing. But anyways, getting older now, got married. My husband will point out certain things. I'll be like, you found me this way though. You found me this way, okay? Don't try and now change me because I'm your wife. This is how you found me. This is what you're going to get, right? No. There's a difference between single and married. And I didn't get that and I didn't understand it. And I feel like should have been a conversation we had before you married me, right? But anyways, it took some time for me to really understand. You know when someone's telling you to do something, but not giving you the in-depths of why they're telling you to do something. I feel for people like me who are goats and stubborn, you gotta approach me differently. And so for all my goats, for all my stubborn ladies, this is me approaching you from a place of love and of experience and just breaking down what I've learned by reading and by reading especially men books, men authors, and getting an inner sense of what men think about us women. And hopefully this will help you. Now, going into the church, it was a whole other thing again. People telling me how I'm dressing is not appropriate, even though in my head I'm like, you don't even know. Like, I've come a long way. Like, this is covered for me. This is covered. This mini skirt is covered for me, trust me. Okay, I used to walk around in batty riders, okay? So when they were coming for me, and telling me, oh, God is not pleased and this and that, I just could not get it. I couldn't comprehend, okay? Like their approach was going over my head, okay? And so hoping that I've gotten it right, at least even a little bit right, so that I am able to speak to my goats and let you understand exactly what people are saying when they're saying, dress properly, okay? Now, especially as Christians, as those who consider themselves as godly and holy women, young ladies, I feel like breaking it down and getting into the depths of what people are saying is more important than just saying, oh, dress appropriately. What does that even mean? Because for me, coming from the Caribbean, dress appropriately mean don't wear batty riders and don't wear crop tops, okay? And so if you see me looking down, I have some notes here. And hopefully, I hope this helps. So one of the things that what we are doing unknowingly, and some probably knowingly, is we are promoting our bodies sexually, especially if we're going to a church event and we're wearing something that is considered club wear. Is inappropriate. Now, some people dress differently on Sundays, which is something I was brought up doing. But to say, if you are a child of God, you can't dress one way on Sunday and then dress another way throughout the week. You are a child of God every day or just on Sundays. You got to make that decision. Okay? And that was a decision that I had to come to. It was very difficult for me to transition from the worldly way of dressing into an appropriate and godly and wife and self-respecting way of dressing. I think it's something I still even struggle with because some of my clothing are still worldly sorry, I have to find a way to make it holy. Okay. And so I would do things like where there's a dress where there's too much breast, I will wear, like a crop top or a no shoulder bra under it or top under there that covers me. And so it's finding something you like and then making it appropriate as well, because as you know, it's not easy to find something for us these days on the most popular websites. Okay, so how you dress is what you are promoting about yourself. Okay, and I'm gonna go into this more about husbands as right, like how you present yourself to your husband. Yeah, so some of us, we are consciously doing it. Some of us are unconsciously doing it. We're unaware. We were raised to do this. We were raised to be sexual and provocative. Okay, and so we are taught to use our bodies to be sexually successful and not intellectually successful. And I know that you also are aware of very intellectual, very smart women who dress very revealing. And so intellect doesn't mean that you know better when it comes to dress code and self-respecting outfits, right? So intellect, when I say intellectual, I'm talking about those who know better, okay? And so when you present yourself to a man, now men are very visual. We know this from the Bible. They were created by dust, okay? It says God used the dirt to create them. He used something physical, something tangible, something that can be touched, where woman came from his rib. Now, if we use this in a hypothetical way and we look at it, woman was made from an inner place, and that's why words is more powerful to us than outer stuff. So say, for example, they can be a very unattractive man, but his words are so soothing to our souls that we will prefer date this unattractive man than someone else. Okay, and that's why you see beautiful women with men and you be like, how is that even possible, right? Okay, so and when you present yourself to a man in any setting, church, business, however you present yourself, because men are visual people, right? They say first impression is everything. And so you might be presenting yourself in a very sexual way, and that is not your intention. But because they are visual beings, that is the message that they're getting. And so instead of them, being interested in you, looking into your eyes, listening to what you're saying, by the time you're finished speaking, they've not heard anything because they are memorizing and in a trance because of how beautiful your body is, right? And so they're not listening to you. They're not paying attention to you. They're paying attention to what they can get from you sexually because of how you presented yourself to them, right? And as I said, you might not be doing this consciously. Some women are, not all. And so you are exposing yourself and you're getting the attention that you may want or the attention that you may not want, right? And so when I spoke about earlier, when I was younger and I kept getting men wanted to have sex with me, even when I was not interested in that, it was clearly because of how I was dressing. And I absolutely had no clue. And now as a young woman, I'm trying to find somebody to settle down with. I'm dressing very revealing, and I'm wondering, why am I only attracting men that want my body and nothing else? Well, it's because of how I presented myself. Okay, yeah. And so where is this stemming from? This is stemming from us, how we are raised, right? Most of us come from fatherless homes. Most of us come from homes with single mothers or mothers who were also portraying this just sense, and on top of that, portraying this sexual behavior. We grew up seeing this and probably not realizing, but we grow up seeing women portrayed as sexual objects and to be used and abused. That's what we've seen, right? And so we have been conditioned to believe that this is all that we are, this is all that we are. And if we are a deeper person, but we dress carnal, we dress fleshly, people who don't know us is going to see us as fleshly, like just surface level people, right? And so, Christians especially, how we dress as Christians should, reflect who we are. Like, someone shouldn't have to ask me if I'm a Christian. If I'm dressed up, I should be able to evangelize no matter where I go, no matter what event I'm dressing to go to. I should be able to evangelize for Jesus Christ, because when I'm dressing up, I am representing God, right? But many Christians, we don't know better. I think because we are not taught better, we're more judged and taught down to, when taught to act than taught, right? And I feel like that is why it took me so long to click, right? I didn't click in the church. I didn't get it in the church. I clicked in my house, as always. God ministering to me and using other people to kind of give me understanding. And it was a book that I read from R.C. Blakes Jr. that really gave me a better insight of what they meant by how I dress. Okay? And so how you dress is supposed to be consistent, not just on Sundays, if you even dress properly on Sundays, but also it reflects how you are seen. Do you have self-respect? And I said it in a few videos, like, some people can look at you and tell if you respect yourself. And one way that someone can tell if you have self-respect is how you dress, right? And so, for example, I worked as a TA and teaching assistant. And I can never imagine myself going to school dressing sexually or just dressing provocative. I just cannot see myself going to school like that. And so why would I then pick myself up and go to church like that? Why didn't I clock earlier that, professionally should be a moral and a normal thing, that however we dress, if we want to be taken as a professional, we are going to dress as a professional. Well, if we want to be taken seriously, well, we should dress seriously, right? Especially if we're looking for a husband, right? And so when my husband was trying to communicate to me that how I'm dressing is disrespectful to him, I didn't get it. But also, when you think about it, when you're married, my body belonged to my husband and my husband's body belonged to me. This is scripture. So if he want me to cover up because this is his body, I should cover it up. But I wasn't understanding, why do I need to cover it up? Why? Because it's his, but also to respect him. I represent him. I represent our marriage. I represent God, right? I represent our children. So when I go out with my husband and I'm showing too much, right? Other men can sexually lust after me because they are visual people, And as women, we look at another woman and be like, "Ooh, she's beautiful." I do it. Look at another woman. "Ooh, she's beautiful. Wow, she's shaped lovely," right? I'm admiring her as a woman. Nothing sexual, but for men, where do their mind go? Where and you got to take this into account if you have friends, right? Married friends in relationship, right? Out of respect for your friends, how you dress around their other half is going to be respectable. Now, these are things that I'm just learning. Yeah, so I was that girl who would go around any one of my friends, just dress how I want to dress, not considering that she has a partner, he's a visual person, and I might do something to him, not intentionally, but because he's a visual being, right? And I'm not taking on saying, oh, it's my fault, because he's a man, right? He needs to take responsibility for his behavior and his thoughts. But also, you got to think, I am adding to the fire, right? I'm adding to it. Okay, so when we go around a man, we either going to provoke him sexually, or we're going to provoke him intellectually, depending on what he first sees. Now, based on what a man first sees, right, will depend on how he continued to treat you. And so if he continued to try and get sex from you because he doesn't know you, and you might not even be that type of person, but that's what you're giving off by the way that you're dressing. You're giving off sexual appeal. And so he's thinking that, oh, you're one of those girls, right, that I can come and just get something from because that's how you dress. Be careful of what message we're sending, because this is the message we're sending not only to men, but this is a message we're sending to the world, right? And if we're representing God, right, if we're a representation of God, right, we have to represent him well. And God said we are holy and sanctified, right? So every time we dress, do we represent holiness and sanctification? Do we represent that we are set apart? Do we represent that we are different? And when I look back, no, I didn't. I did not all the time represent that, you know, because I didn't know better. I didn't know that every time I step out this house, I should be able to evangelize in whatever I'm wearing. And I know that there's many times that I've stepped out my house that I could not have evangelized in what I was wearing, because what I was wearing was not honoring and respectable unto God. And so, is what you wear honoring God? Is it respectable to God? Is it honoring your husband if you're married? Is it respectable to your in-laws, your parents? You know what I mean? Can you represent your family in what you're wearing in any situation? Okay, would you wear what you're wearing to work? You know, if you work in a professional field, would you wear that to the hospital and work at the hospital? Will you wear that? And I'm talking about the United Kingdom. Would you wear that to school? They will send you home, honestly. They will fire you on the spot. Okay, would you wear that to your law firm, to your real estate? No, you won't. And so how you represent your workplace professionally, make sure you're representing God and your husband and your family the same way. I love how R.C. Blakes put it. R.C. Blakes put it, if you were walking across a prostitute, would people standing afar know the difference between you and that prostitute? And I think that's a very good question. Every time you're coming out of the house, do I look like a prostitute? Do I look like I'm sexually attracting men? Like what message am I sending? Am I praising God in what I'm wearing? Right? I think you get it, right? I hope you get it. And if you feel very defensive by what I'm saying, I think that's an inner thing. And I think I also went through that at one time. But I think that I've also given you a few examples that should, you know, give you a better and clearer understanding of who you are. You know, if you want to be respected as a woman and not just somebody who's meant for the bedroom or meant for the kitchen, how you carry yourself will determine how others will treat you. And yes, people who know you and is close to you, know who you are, may not treat you that way because they know you. But we're talking about first impressions, especially those who are looking for their husbands. And you're sending off a message by how you dress. If you're looking for a godly man, dress like a godly woman. Because if you're not dressing like a godly woman, you might attract the wrong person. So I hope that this video helped you to get a better understanding of what people are saying when they say dress better in the church. But I don't think it just meant for church. I think it's meant for every day. Dress like you're glorifying God every day. And this is something that took me a very long time to understand and to transition into. Even now, I'm still learning. But I think that the book that I read from R.C. Blakes really gave me a clearer and better understanding. So I put a link of that book in the descriptions, so that if you want to read that book, which is a really good book, especially for young ladies and mature ladies, to kind of give an understanding of who you are and why you were called. You know, we are more than just our bodies. We are more than just meant for sex. We are more than just wives. You know, we also represent ourselves. And so the way that we dress will determine whether people will respect us, especially people who are just meeting us, they don't know us, will respect us because of who we are, or would show a form of respect because of how we are dressing and what they want from us. And how you dress will determine the man that you want. Okay, and if you want a man that will look deeper into who you are and want to know more about you, you will want to present yourself that way. Whereas if you meet a man and you're just showing him everything, you don't even leave anything for his imagination, then you're gonna get a man that is after you sexually and not after you honorably. Anyways, God bless. Please like this video if it helped. Share it to someone you think that's going to, need it. And follow us and subscribe to our channel. God bless.